Howard Carter uncovered the tomb of King Tut for the cameras, most everyone was unaware that Carter had already been inside King Tut's tomb, and the public opening was simply for entertainment purposes only, to say the least. In May of 2017, the Turk-Arab invaders of Egypt pulled another publicity stunt, this time with an invisible pyramid. Today we'll be reacting to a video put up by the Smithsonian, and by the end of this video we're going to see that the Smithsonian has been right in bed with the Turk-Arab invader the entire time. They allegedly found a pyramid at Dashur in Egypt, in the neighborhood of the Bent Pyramid. This video doesn't give us much information on the name of the site other than that it's in a less well-known part. They give us no date for this site, but if it was Greek, they would tell us instantly. Let's pay attention to this guy, Chris Naunton. He's the so-called president of the International Association of Egyptologists for the Turk-Arab, who has hired him to legitimize this scripted event.
This is the Bent Pyramid, just slightly closer to us, and what's known as the Red Pyramid behind it. But we're going to a much less well-known part of the site.
The stairs lead to an underground complex, the heart of the pyramid.
They never show what the stairs are connected to or exactly where they go. Nor do they show any evidence that a pyramid exists here or has ever existed at this site.
These huge blocks are protecting the only access to the chamber and any mummy and treasure that may be hidden inside. Mummy and treasure that may be hidden inside. Hidden inside. Mummy and treasure hidden inside. And any mummy and treasure that may be hidden inside.
Here we see they are preoccupied with treasure and desecration. The Smithsonian acts irresponsibly here by painting a picture of pyramids and mummies while using that as the default with no evidence. The Turk-Arab is preoccupied with making money and hiding evidence. I also noticed these notches cut into the rocks right here, which I found rather strange. It made me wonder if some sort of manipulation had possibly taken place to prepare the site for this stage show. And later I also noticed that they had actually cut some sort of notches into the stone they were moving, because we could see the before and after right here.
And unlike any other pyramid found so far, it still appears to be sealed.
And still they keep going with this pyramid scheme. Let's focus on what they said right here. This pyramid is sealed unlike the other pyramids. Here they are using an official platform to push a completely false narrative, and they get away with it. Right there at Dashur, at the Bent Pyramid, not only did they use dynamite inside this ancient building, they robbed the chamber where they continue to destroy it, expose it, and show it off. The Bent Pyramid inside was not designed for humans to walk around inside of, but they built all kinds of contraptions now to crawl all over it. They somehow put all kinds of wood to hold up their destruction, and I noticed this at this site that we're looking at now. They also brought wood to that location. So they call up the local Turk-Arabs to bring in their tools of the trade to allegedly open this so-called tomb for quote-unquote the very first time. Here we see them crawling all over the site like ants. And here we got a close-up of the Turk-Arab invader female making sure to get a picture of the crime scene.
It's becoming clear they've stumbled upon an ancient crime scene.
And notice how they cover up the damage they did with a cheap piece of material on top. Notice how everyone involved here is preoccupied with desecration and gold fever. And since it's not their history, it's easy for them. They claim it took them 3 days to lift this block.
3 days of effort. 3 days after 3 days of effort.
When we review this scene on top of everything they've done over the years, we simply cannot afford to take them at face value on this without being instant suckers. Now remember, these alleged stairs lead to what we're about to see. They are at ground level, about to lift a rock supposedly covering a hidden chamber. What they end up showing on the video is the stone barely being lifted up. We never once see the stone free of its confinement. I'm also wondering, how the hell did they get those straps around the entire stone block, including underneath it? Like, how do you do that?
The archaeologists hope to be unveiling treasure.
And so all they show is this crack, and then they cut to this.
The tomb gives up its secrets for the first time in almost 4,000 years. But what's inside is a shock. Its contents are in disarray.
Now we saw how everything looked before they allegedly lifted this block for the first time. These blocks here are many times bigger than a human and weigh thousands of tons. This same narrator just told us that this alleged chamber has been unopened and unmolested for thousands of years. Yet inside this alleged pyramid chamber, covered by a block weighing some tons, is a bunch of dirt, piled up rocks, and a jump box thrown in the corner, with no explanation as to how this is possible.
But now, there's a mystery to solve. There's a mystery to solve.
And like everything with Egypt, we get stuck with another mystery, a mystery that they themselves have created. Which brings us back to Mr. President of the Egyptologists, Chris Naunton, who gives up any and all credibility by going along with this nonsense.
Two questions here that we need to start trying to answer. One is, who was buried here? Who was this pyramid built for? And then secondly,
this is a classic tactic used by the academic gatekeepers, which is to put on a Sherlock Holmes hat and grab your pipe.
how is it that an apparently completely sealed, unbreached burial chamber, completely sealed, unbreached, completely sealed, unbreached burial chamber comes to have been disturbed?
In this case, I do believe that Mr. President here is a dupe that they brought in to lend credibility to this sideshow. But surely, he must suspect that the Turk Arab posed all this as a setup. He is too highly educated for that.
It's becoming clear they've stumbled upon an ancient crime scene.
Now they blame the ancient Egyptians once again for lifting a block weighing thousands of tons, taking whatever was supposedly behind it out, leaving a mess inside,
and any mummy and treasure that may be hidden inside.
and then carefully placing the block back where it was in the first place. In the meantime, Mr. President here has all kinds of degrees to be an Egyptologist and doesn't mention this aspect whatsoever. And this is a person with actual clout and influence somewhere. And last but not least, the Smithsonian is now guilty because they produced this nonsense video and have worked closely with the Turk Arab to put on this theater production, which is exactly what it is. And this brings us to the end point of today's video, which is these invaders have worked with the Western Europeans before to stage so-called tomb openings. Case in point, King Tut, when they celebrated the tomb opening all around the world, Howard Carter and friends had already breached the tomb and had already been inside. He covered everything back to where it was at. Then they had the whole celebratory tomb opening for the cameras. So the King Tut opening was a smoke and mirror sideshow the entire time, while the Hollywood version is presented as actual history. The blueprint for shenanigans has already been written. Go somewhere, destroy the still evidence, depending on how you feel about it that day. They'd say, hey guys, look what we found. Who knows what's there? Oh shucks, the sarcophagus is empty. Oh shucks, the ancient Egyptians left a mess. Oh, the tomb robbers came. Guess we'll have better luck next time.
Someone got here first and robbed the burial chamber.
The Smithsonian ends this educational video on that creepy note. No explanations, asinine mysteries, and they taunt us with this.
Robbed the burial chamber.
And we all know who robbed it. They continue to find evidence and artifacts. All of that disappears, and the answer every time is, oh, I'm sorry, looks like nothing was over there. And sometimes it looks like nothing was ever there, and they'll just put on a sideshow for no reason except attention and pushing a narrative. In the meantime, anything they label as Ptolemaic or Roman is not a mystery, and they will immediately get to the bottom of it. They allegedly found 1 million Greco-Roman era mummies, while anything before that is a constant mystery and thrown in the trash because it damns them every time they see it. We've been upside their head with evidence that has been revealed, and they are determined not to let anything disrupt them, turning Egypt into the son of Greece and entirely Caucasian for profit. And at the end of the story, we get no explanation as to how this junk was piled in the corner, or how these rocks and dirt were piled in here behind an impenetrable wall lodged between other blocks in the ground. We need more black academics in the game so we can push up on these shenanigans. The Turk Arab invader of Egyptian history, along with his Western European pets, have long given up any claims to high culture long ago. They simply refuse to give up their barbarian gold fever and behaviors. And it doesn't stop here. Right around the way is the Big Pyramid, open for the first time in 50 years. They decided to use dynamite in there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Comes to have been disturbed.